It's been 30 years since Pulp Fiction redefined cool, razor-sharp lines, iconic scenes, and a cast that burned into pop culture. But where are they now? Some became legends, others disappeared from the spotlight. Let's find out who's still making waves and who vanished. Remember that heroin-addicted hitman with the slicked-back hair who danced his way into the history of Hollywood? John Travolta featured as Vincent Vega in the 1994 movie and delivered as always. He also featured in Saturday Night Fever in 1997. His role in that movie got him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Totally deserved. Travolta gave Vincent that mesmerizing blend of philosophical charm and cold-blooded efficiency. Fast forward to 2025, and the dancing hitman is now 71. After Pulp Fiction, he also succeeded in films like Get Shorty, Face Off, and Hairspray. Despite facing personal challenges, particularly the loss of his wife, Kelly Preston, in 2020, he's continued working across various film and television projects while also pursuing his passion for aviation. If you've seen Pulp Fiction, you'll never forget Samuel L. Jackson's electrifying performance as Jules Winfield, executing his Ezekiel 25:17 lines like he was born for it. At 45, Jackson earned himself an Oscar nomination for his performance, cementing his place in film history. Before this breakthrough, he was already building his resume with smaller roles. Now, at 76, Jackson has become Hollywood royalty. With over 150 films under his belt, he's one of the highest-grossing actors ever. He still maintained partnerships with Tarantino in films like Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. Jackson has proven himself to be endlessly versatile. Who knew this hitman would launch such an extraordinary career? His unmistakable presence and voice remain as powerful as ever. Uma Thurman was just 24 when she stepped into Mia Wallace's cocaine-dusted shoes. Her performance as the gangster's wife, with a fondness for $5 milkshakes and dangerous nights out, transformed her from a promising actress to a full-blown Hollywood icon. That twist contest with Travolta was pure movie magic that people still recreate 3 decades later. Now at 55, Thurman has built a career balancing big-budget films with her independent work. Her reunion with Tarantino for the 2003 Kill Bill movie showcased her incredible skills as the bride, proving she's much more than just Mia Wallace. Beyond her acting achievements, she's become a powerful voice advocating for women in Hollywood, speaking boldly about her own industry experiences. When Bruce Willis signed on to play boxer Butch Coolidge at age 39, he was already flying high as the action star of the Die Hard movie. Taking a massive pay cut to work with Tarantino proved to be one of his smartest career moves. As the boxer who refuses to throw a fight, Willis brings unexpected vulnerability alongside his toughness. Now, at 70, Willis's journey has taken an unexpected turn. In 2022, his family announced his retirement from acting following his diagnosis with aphasia, later revealed to be frontotemporal dementia. Before stepping away, he had gathered over 100 film credits across action, comedy, and drama. The legacies of the Hollywood legend would continue to live on. Ving Rhames was a trained actor, building his resume in films like The Saint of Fort Washington, before he played Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction. He gave us one of cinema's most intimidating figures. That famous line about getting medieval still sends shivers down spines, delivered in his unmistakable bass voice that could make even a simple hello sound threatening. Now 66, Rhames has built an impressive career spanning 3 decades. While many know him as Luther Stickell, the computer genius alongside Tom Cruise, in Mission Impossible, he's consistently balanced blockbusters with meaningful independent work. Rhames has shown a remarkable range across action, drama, and even comedy. That commanding presence that made Wallace so memorable still remains his signature trademark. When Harvey Keitel cruised onto the screen as Winston Wolfe at age 55, he needed just 10 minutes to steal the show. Already a hot actor from Mean Streets and Reservoir Dogs, Keitel wasn't just Tarantino's collaborator, he was practically his guardian angel, having helped secure funding for Quentin's debut film. His portrayal of the no-nonsense problem solver who cleans up after Vincent and Jules' messy situation became instantly quotable despite only a little screen time. Now at 86, Keitel stands as one of Hollywood's most enduring talents. While many actors fade with age, he's continued selecting roles that showcase his distinctive intensity across 7 decades in film. He still had that same precision and authority that made The Wolf so memorable. At 32, Eric Stoltz brought an oddly domestic quality to heroin dealer Lance, creating one of Pulp Fiction's most unexpectedly relatable characters. Before becoming Tarantino's drug supplier, Stoltz had built a solid reputation in films like Mask and Some Kind of Wonderful, though many still whispered about his brief stint as the original Marty McFly before being replaced. Now at 63, Stoltz has built a second career that might surprise fans of his Pulp Fiction days, while continuing to take occasional acting roles. He's become a prolific television director, calling the shots on episodes of hit shows like Glee, Grey's Anatomy, and Madam Secretary. The intense focus he once brought on screen has transferred nicely to life behind the camera. In his early 30s when filming, Roth was fresh off his breakthrough as Mr. Orange in Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, bringing his unique, nervous energy to another memorable character. His chemistry with Amanda Plummer created one of cinema's most unusual and strangely endearing criminal couples. Now in his 60s, Roth has crafted one of Hollywood's most interesting careers. He bounced between television successes like Lie to Me and Twin Peaks: The Return, while maintaining his presence through collaborations with Tarantino. Unlike Pumpkin, who likely didn't survive long after meeting Jules Winfield, Roth's career has shown impressive staying power. His knack for bringing depth to even the most questionable characters has been one that everyone admired till today. Early in the movie, we were introduced to Amanda Plummer's character, Honey Bunny, the twitchy, unpredictable half of Pulp Fiction's amateur robbery duo. At 37, the daughter of acting royalty, Christopher Plummer, had already established herself as a master of portraying intense, unconventional characters, particularly in The Fisher King, alongside Robin Williams. Her frantic energy made Honey Bunny hilarious and terrifying all at once. Now 68, Plummer has stayed true to her artistic roots, focusing on challenging roles in independent films and theater. Unlike many Hollywood actresses, Plummer has never compromised her commitment to unusual, complex characters. The same fearless approach that made Honey Bunny so captivating continues to define her work decades later. Who could forget that soft-spoken, French-accented woman obsessed with potbellies and blueberry pancakes? At 28, Maria de Medeiros played Fabienne, Butch's sweet yet quirky girlfriend. Before becoming part of Tarantino's movie, she had built a respectable career in European cinema, and notably starred alongside Uma Thurman in Henry and June as writer Anais Nin. Now at 59, de Medeiros has maintained a successful career that most American audiences might have missed. While Fabienne remains her most recognizable role stateside, she's flourished primarily in European productions, directing several acclaimed films, and even pursuing a parallel career as a musician. Though she never became a Hollywood star, she's crafted exactly the kind of diverse, independent career that suits her unique talents. 31-year-old Quentin Tarantino cast himself as Jimmy, the stressed-out homeowner with dead body storage issues and concerns about his wife, Bonnie, coming home. This role showed his flair for darkly comic dialogue delivered with nervous energy. Though primarily focused on directing movies behind the camera, his memorable cameo proved he understood exactly how his unique dialogue should sound. Now at 62, Tarantino already has 2 screenwriting Oscars and a filmography studied in film schools worldwide. His directing work in films like Django Unchained and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has solidified his legacy. That anxious guy worrying about coffee quality? Well, he became one of Hollywood's finest royalty. One scene and 5 minutes were all it took for Christopher Coons to deliver what might be cinema's most unforgettable watch-related monologue. With that unmistakable cadence and intensity, the Oscar winner's appearance gave the gold watch an emotional weight that made Butch's later risks to retrieve it completely believable. Now, at 82, Walken has become something of a cultural institution. His singular speaking pattern has been imitated by countless comedians, yet no one captures it the way he does. He's continued working steadily across all genres, proving equally compelling in serious dramas, musical roles, and comedy appearances on Saturday Night Live. That mysterious, slightly menacing quality that made Captain Coons so memorable remains intact decades later. With her choppy red hair and face full of piercings, Rosanna Arquette's Jodie was the quintessential rock and roll drug dealer's wife. At 34, she was already established from hits like Desperately Seeking Susan, bringing perfect oddball energy to Lance's piercing-obsessed spouse. She fitted perfectly into the movie, making the most of her limited screen time. Now, at 65, Arquette has evolved beyond just acting. While she still took interesting roles in film and television, she's become one of Hollywood's most vocal advocates for women's rights in the industry. She's channeled her experiences into directing documentaries on gender inequality and power dynamics in entertainment. Arquette has used her platform to push for meaningful change while still maintaining her credibility. Few villains in cinema history are as purely detestable as Peter Green's Zed. At just 28, Green's unflinching performance as the pawnshop predator showcased his willingness to go to disturbing places on screen. Before traumatizing audiences in Pulp Fiction, he was building his reputation in indie films like Laws of Gravity and Clean Shaven. Now at 59, Green has crafted a career playing characters who walk on the darker side of humanity. The same year as Pulp Fiction, he terrified Jim Carrey as the villain in The Mask, and later appeared in shows like Justified. Green's ability to embody unsettling characters has kept him consistently working across the movie industry. When Butch stumbled into that pawnshop, he had no idea he'd encounter Maynard, one half of cinema's most disturbing duo. At 34, Duane Whitaker brought authenticity to the shop owner with some sinister activities. Before tormenting Marcellus Wallace, Whitaker had been building his resume as a character actor, with a particular focus on horror films. Now at 65, Whitaker has maintained a steady career that only genre fans would certainly recognize. He has strengthened his portfolio in horror movies, appearing in From Dusk Till Dawn 2 and Halloween 2. Though he'll always be associated with Pulp Fiction's most disturbing sequence, Whitaker's versatility as both performer and writer has given him staying power beyond his role in Pulp Fiction. Remember that curious taxi driver who picked up Butch after his boxing match? That was Angela Jones, and she brought an eerie charm to Esmeralda Villalobos, creating an unforgettable impression in just one brief scene. That was all it took for her to. She featured in a short film called Curdled, and was so impressed that he wrote this character specifically for her, blending macabre curiosity with professional courtesy. Now at 55, Jones has had a more modest Hollywood journey compared to some of her Pulp Fiction co-stars. She actually reprised her character as Esmeralda in the 1996 feature version of Curdled, which Tarantino helped produce. While never really becoming a major star, she's continued working on independent projects over the years. Phil LaMarr was in his late 20s when he played Marvin, the guy who had an opinion but didn't get to finish it. That accidental shot to the face is still one of Pulp Fiction's most shocking and strangely funny moments. Back then, LaMarr was just getting started on Mad TV, showing off his sketch comedy chops. Fast forward to 2025 and he's become one of the most recognized voices in animation and gaming. Samurai Jack, Futurama, Justice League, Metal Gear, you name it. He's probably voiced a character in it. Now in his late 50s, Phil's carved out a career that's all about range, far beyond that one wild car ride with Vincent and Jules. Stephen Hibbert was 33 when he played the Gimp, one of Pulp Fiction's weirdest characters. His face never appeared on screen, just a zippered leather mask and a lot of silence. Off camera, Hibbert was already making a name for himself in comedy writing. While the Gimp became a cult reference, Hibbert kept things steady behind the scenes. Now 64, he's built a solid career writing for TV and film, with occasional acting gigs on the side. He doesn't chase the spotlight, but he's still known as the guy under the mask in one of Tarantino's most talked about scenes. Trudy didn't say much, but she didn't have to. With her presence as a chain smoker and that punked-out vibe, Bronish Gallagher made that drug den scene unforgettable. She was just 21, fresh off her breakout in The Commitments, and already radiating that offbeat charm that Tarantino loves. Now, 52, Brona has carved out a dual path as both actress and musician. She's popped up in everything from Star Wars, The Phantom Menace to Sherlock Holmes, while also releasing a string of soul albums that showcase her powerful voice. She may have looked lost in that living room back in '94, but in real life, she's been in full control, turning quiet moments into lasting impressions on screen and stage. Remember that awkwardly cool waiter dressed as Buddy Holly at Jack Rabbit Slim's? That was none other than Steve Buscemi, already a cult favorite thanks to Reservoir Dogs. In Pulp Fiction, his cameo was short, but to be real, he somehow made taking orders feel iconic. Buscemi was 36 then, rocking that unmistakable wiry charm and bug-eyed stare that most fans loved. Fast forward to 2025, he's 67 and still one of the most respected character actors in the industry. From playing crime boss Nucky Thompson in Boardwalk Empire to directing episodes of The Sopranos and 30 Rock, Steve quietly built a career most actors dream of. Who knew Buddy Holly would turn out to be TV royalty? Who among these amazing characters from the movie is your favorite? Let us know in the comment box. And yes, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to enjoy more interesting videos from us.